weird. We haven't done this in the same room yet.
I know. Ooh, we're back to square one. We're 10 episodes back and we're
10 episodes back?
Yeah. Well,
10 episodes in?
Well, no, like back to episode 1 when I was like, I can't start the episode. I'm not doing it. Okay. Quit looking at me.
I'm not even looking at you.
I felt you looking. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Funny Pair, where two pears in a pod may not be in the same orchard, but we're always ripe for a chat. I'm Madeline.
And I'm Brianna. Today is a very special episode because we're actually together. Oh my gosh, we're in the same room for the first time in our entire friendship.
Yep. We're actually meeting for the first time in person.
Yeah, we've never met each other before. This is the first time.
It's actually all a ruse. We say we're best friends, but in reality, we just are two strangers that started this podcast together.
Yep.
And we actually know nothing about each other. And this is the first time we're meeting.
We met on Facebook, Facebook Marketplace. I put out an ad. I'll pay you to be my co-host, and
yes,
the cost was free. And she jumped on it.
Yeah. I was like, free friend, sign me up. Right now I've got 0.
Yeah.
Nah, we're sitting in the same room. We're at my house. This is very fun.
Yeah.
We were just talking about how awkward this is.
Yeah, I don't know where to look. We've got a camera set up for the Have You Heard? And then I'm trying to look at Madeline, but then I'm also looking at our computer because like they're also recording stuff, and then we have our script. There's a lot of stuff to look at.
There's a lot going on.
So we don't know where our eyes should be going. I wish I had the ability to turn my eyes in 2 different directions. You ever seen those people?
Like a chameleon?
Well, yeah, but like there's certain people who have the cross-eyed deal, but they can go opposite cross-eyed. So like instead of cross-eyeing like this or whatever, it's like cross-eyeing opposite, and they can look outward.
That's
have you ever seen
thing?
that? Yeah. Have you never seen that?
No.
I'm looking up a picture right now.
That's got to be fake. Your eyes can't do that.
Some people's eyes do that.
I don't think so. No. That seems like maybe like with that's not real.
It is real.
That's like a lazy eye.
I can actually do this one, I think.
Ew. Do it.
I don't know if I'm doing it or not. Am I doing it or no?
Ew, yeah, you are. Stop. Ew.
I can only do it that
Your
way.
one eye was looking at me and the other one was like looking away, and it was very strange.
Okay. So for those who can't see us right now, which is everyone, I just did a thing with my eyes where I was looking at Madeline and then crossed my other eye. So
it's very weird. Well, that's
there's a diagram.
A chart. Okay, so it's okay. You've got esotropia. What on earth is hypertropia? What the
Her
hell
eye went
is
up.
going on?
That's down.
Yeah, both of those.
Damn.
How can one eye look down and one eye look out? I can just cross my eyes normal, which is just inside, like to the nose.
All right, we're getting off on a tangent already.
Oh, I haven't even marked the tangent.
We haven't even told everybody what we're talking about today.
Oh my gosh, well that's a fun fact I just learned about you.
Oh, you didn't know that? Oh my gosh. I had a hard time coming up with facts that you didn't know about me, actually.
Dude, I've got like 8 because I was like, does she know this? I don't know.
I had a hard time. Like, I only wrote down 3, but I wrote down my first one. I'm like, I'm pretty sure she doesn't know that one.
That's
but
where
then
I am.
I wrote down 2 more, and I'm like, I don't know if she knows these or not. And they're dumb.
Yeah.
Like, it's dumb stuff that I did in my childhood that I guess you wouldn't know.
Right, that's where I was trying to think. I was like, okay, what's a story I haven't told her or something? Because you know the facts about me. Like, my favorite color is
pink.
Yes, you sounded unsure just then.
Okay, honestly, I was thinking about that this morning because tonight we have our girls' night and we're doing like a BFF Olympics kind of thing, right? I was literally thinking like, oh my gosh, if there's like some kind of questionnaire and I have to answer like what everybody's favorite color is, am I going to know what everybody's favorite color is? And I would know that your favorite color is pink, but I was like, oh my God, is it actually pink or is she just psyching me out this whole time?
Right.
And then I was like, I actually don't think I know what Holly's favorite color is or Annalise. Like Annalise, I would guess
Annalise's.
Black would be my guess for her, honestly. But not in like a morbid, weird kind of way, but just like...
See, I think it's purple.
Really?
Yeah.
And I was thinking Holly's would be green.
I think Holly's is blue.
But I have no idea.
I don't know.
Holly just looks great in green. So I was like, hers is green.
She looks great in everything.
She's just a Disney princess.
She's a goddess.
That's what Holly is. But anyway, so I was thinking hers would be green. And then Annalise's would be like black or something like that. Like not even a color. Like, excuse me, that's a shade. That's not even a color.
It's
you know,
a color.
like I know that. People have always said that. Like, you can't pick that because it goes well with everything.
That's the point.
That's what I say.
Your favorite color's like teal and blue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basic color blue?
Basic color blue is my favorite color.
But specifically, it's like
it's like an ocean blue.
Yeah.
Tealish.
Turquoise.
Like similar to the color of my nails.
Yeah. But darker.
A little darker.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. I was just looking at them, actually. Wow. What'd you do?
I haven't done
Fight someone?
No, actually, the last time I did my nails was 6 weeks ago, I think.
Don't mind me.
The last time I did my nails was like 6 weeks ago, and they're only supposed to last 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
And so these have actually lasted up until a few days ago when this nail popped off while I was sleeping, actually. I don't know how that happened.
What do you do in your sleep?
I don't know. I mean, you know me. I literally, when I fall asleep, I'm dead. Yeah. Like I am in that position all night.
And you just wake up in that same spot.
I'm like Dracula, like like coming out of my coffin when I wake up. And that's how I sleep.
It's true.
Like I'm just a log. I don't know. But anyway, I don't know. I think it just got caught on the covers or something.
I guess.
And so this one popped off, and then this one popped off at dinner last night.
Oh.
Which, speaking of dinner last night, sorry,
no,
we have a lot to talk about.
What?
I went to the Korean barbecue place. You know that place?
The place we go to?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They had a robot server.
What?
Yeah, dead ass. They had a robot server that delivered our waters to the table. It was me and my brother.
You, like, roll over?
It rolled up. It was a robot thing that had a tray, and it rolled up to our table, and it like turned and faced our table and said, "Hi, your order is here."
Ew.
And then I went up and started grabbing the waters, and it was like, "I will be departing in 7 seconds." And I like took the waters and whatever, and then it said, "Thank you," and it left. I have no idea. How
big was it? Was it like up
it
to
was
your
like,
table height or like
Yeah,
higher?
It was a little taller than the table.
So like 4 feet tall.
Yeah, it was kind of like these little tables, like the whatever, and it was on wheels on the bottom, and then the tray was about that tall or a little taller, and then it had a screen above that.
What did the screen have? Was that
well,
like
the screen was just no, the screen just had words on it, like now serving table number whatever.
Oh.
Or whatever, and then it spoke through speakers, and it had like a camera attached to the front of it, so that it didn't run into customers and whatever.
So it's like a Roomba.
I have no idea how long they had this robot.
You know the robots on campus that would deliver food? So it was like one of those, I guess?
Kind of, yeah.
That kind of spoke to you?
Yeah.
I love those little robots.
I love those
actually.
little robots. Yeah, those are cute.
I started getting those, I think junior year technically was when they started implementing them, but senior year was when I really used them to deliver my Starbucks every day. And it would roll up. It was probably the size of like I don't know, how would you describe it?
Like a small cooler?
Yeah, like a small cooler on wheels. Mm-hmm. And you'd track it on your phone, and then he'd roll up and he'd like text you or something like, "I'm here with your order." And then you go and you meet it outside, and it says something like, "Here's your order. Have a great day." And then it would end it with our with Rocky Top.
Yeah, Rocky
and it would sing to you.
I always loved Star Wars Day, May 4th, because you would order from the things and they would program it with R2D2 sounds. No,
are you serious?
Yes, seriously. I always ordered on May 4th because they would do that.
On everything.
So they literally would roll up. Their little R2D2 song or sounds, and then you would open the thing and you'd take it out, and then you would close it, and it would say something along the lines of "Thank you, may the force be with you," and then it would do like R2D2 sounds and roll away. It was so cool.
That's the coolest thing I think I've ever heard.
And then toward the end, I think after you graduated, they started to program it with music. And so you could actually select a song with your order, and it would play that song as it's going through the students to deliver the order.
Okay.
And it had like 20 songs that you could pick through, and it would play them as it was driving.
Okay, they were not that well thought out when I was using these. Like they would just roll up, they'd say, "Here's your order. Have a great day." And then play Rocky Top. And that was it. There was no like, you couldn't name it or like whatever. That is so cool. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You know, some nerd was like, "Okay, can we do for May the 4th? Can we have it like roll around and be like," and it it like gets kicked or something, goes, "Wow."
Actually though, I feel like I remember that being a thing. Like
you bump into it and it goes,
somewhere.
"Wow." Oh my God.
Loses all its coins or whatever.
It screams.
Oh, man.
There was that viral video that was going around a couple years ago of the marching band, and it was like during like game day or something, and one of those little robots was like going down Ped Walkway, and the marching band had to like march into it, and the little guy was like, and he just like stopped in the middle of the thing and
poor
had to
guy.
march around.
Bless him.
Oh, poor dude. That was a traumatic day at work for him. He's like, man. I'm just here to deliver food.
This is my first day. I don't understand.
His first day. He's like, what's going on? They said it'd be clear.
Yes. Oh, jeez.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's funny.
What would you say is your normal Chick-fil-A order?
Girl, it changes every single time I go to Chick-fil-A. Like, I always get something different at Chick-fil-A, but...
What are you currently in the mood? Like, what's your...
Currently, what I'm getting is the grilled chicken sandwich.
Oh, okay.
The whatever, like, I think it's called the grilled chicken deluxe or something like that. But I get it no tomato, so it's just lettuce and then the chicken and the whatever. And then with fries. And typically I'll get a half and half tea. Yeah. You know, but sometimes I have to get a cherry Coke. Like, it just depends on the day.
You need the meal, like, to be complete with it.
So, what's your typical order?
My typical, I would say, is usually a spicy chicken sandwich and fries and a half and half tea. But the other day, Tyler and I couldn't decide what to do for dinner, so we went to Chick-fil-A. And I was like, you know what? I haven't really been eating any vegetables lately. I'm going to get like a healthier Chick-fil-A meal. And so I was going to get the grilled nuggets. And then for my side, I was going to get the kale crunch salad, which is actually really good. Really? I'm not a huge kale person, but I love their kale crunch salad. And so I was like, okay, I'll get that. And then I'll get my half and half tea and I'll feel a little bit better about getting Chick-fil-A. Because I was supposed to cook and I didn't want to and I felt bad. So I was like, well, at least get something healthy to make you feel better. Well, we go through the drive-thru, and a Chick-fil-A employee walks up, and she says, like, she has us roll down our window, and she says, I'm so sorry, we're all out of the kale crunch salad. Is there something else that you would like? I was like, this is the Lord telling me that I can eat carbs. He said, wow. You know you want mac and cheese, get your mac and cheese. Wow. And so I got mac and cheese instead.
The Lord is good.
God is good.
Jesus
He
saves.
Always provides. But I felt that it was a divine intervention of like, you don't need the kale crunch salad. Yeah. Get your mac and cheese. So I did. And it was great. So,
you know, all them soccer moms are going through Chick-fil-A ordering the kale crunch salad.
Can I get the kale crunch salad? Hold the dressing.
Yeah. Can I get the kale crunch salad? Thank you.
Okay, Kim Kardashian.
Well, I was trying to quote it's from White Chicks, I think is what it's called or something. Not the movie White Chicks, but there's a YouTube channel that's called White Chicks or White Women or something like that, and it's the animated thing. We watched the video that was like pumpkin spice latte.
Can I get
what is that? What is that called? I thought it was like white something.
I don't know. You're probably right. But she would be like, can I get the kale crunch salad, please? The kale crunch salad with no dressing and no crunch, please. So just the kale. Actually, no kale. I can't have kale. I'm on this all keto air diet.
White Woman Season.
White Woman Season.
By Meat Canyon is the channel.
Okay. White Woman Season.
For anybody who wants to look it up, because it's hilarious.
It's so great.
It's hilarious.
Yes.
Okay, so
it's been 20 minutes.
It's been 20 minutes and we haven't introduced what our episode
You don't want to look at our tangent tally right now. Woo! Okay. Well, if you couldn't tell, when we're together, the tangents go way, way up. It's like that chart of like, you know what I'm talking about, where it's like when we're together, the amount of tangents, and then it like that exponential.
Yep, exponential.
Tyler knows what
chart.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know, something like that.
Hey, Tyler.
Hey, Ty.
Tyler. Oh, he doesn't like being on camera. He's shy.
Oh, he's shy guy.
Okay, well, we'll call it an exponential growth chart for the sake of, I don't know, that's what we'll call it.
Yeah, that's just what we'll call it.
If there are any mathematician nerds, let us know that in the comments if we got that totally wrong.
Yes.
Anyway, so with this being a very special edition type of episode, with us obviously being together for the first time actually recording, we had to have a very special topic.
And because of that, we couldn't just decide on one topic.
Yeah.
Obviously. Tangents, and it fits the theme.
Right.
Okay? We can't decide on one topic.
So you guys are going to be getting a total of 4 random topics today. This may be an extra long episode.
It might be, actually.
But
considering
I'm
we've
excited.
already been talking for 20 minutes.
Yeah, but that's okay.
We might either... You'll know when this comes out, but we might either post it all at once, or maybe we'll do like a 2-parter. Like
part 1 and part 2.
Part 1 and part 2 of episode 10, and it'll come out like 2 days later or something.
Wait, that's tea.
Yeah, we might do something like that.
I kind of like that.
Okay, so maybe then we'll save like the discussion at the end of the episode for the second part.
Oh. Okay, we'll see where we are when we get there.
We'll see. Okay. Okay, yeah. So essentially what we're going to be doing today is we're going to tell each other facts about ourselves that the other person might not know.
Which was so hard.
It was very difficult. I mean, I feel like we already mentioned this a little bit, but I'm pretty positive that Madeline knows almost everything about me.
Yeah.
And so
Vice versa.
Don't know what she doesn't know. It's almost like I need you to ask me questions that you might not know. And then I'll tell you the answer.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can ask me our text message string last night is proof enough that we can ask each other
anything. Girl, if you want to ask anything at all, don't hesitate.
There's literally no filter between us.
No.
So eventually we might have to do that episode where you just ask me random questions and I'll ask you random questions and then we'll answer each other. But so we're going to do that. And then what else are we doing, Madeline?
Yes, so we're also going to do a deep dive into our search histories. Now, I liked this topic when we brought it up, but Bree seemed really excited about it.
Oh my God, girl. I literally, you're not even ready.
I'm not.
I'm like trying to hide my notes from you.
I'm a little scared.
So I looked, okay, we'll just get into it later. But I said that hold on. This idea came up. And I was so excited because I literally had just looked something up. And the thing I looked up made me think of Madeline.
Aww.
And yeah, you're not going to be saying that when I tell you. But anyway, it made me think of Madeline. And so I was going to tell her about it, but I was like, you know what? We're just going to save it for this. And so I'm going to tell her, you're going to get her live reaction right here on this episode.
I'm so scared. Okay.
So we're going to do that. And then I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's those trends going around where like on Instagram or TikTok, whatever you use, people will post like create your own stories.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be like
pause to play,
pause to pick your main character or your male main character or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Your love interest, your trope, your whatever.
Yes. So we're going to do one of those live.
Oh,
so we're going to come up with something.
Those. Every time I come across one of those, I do it.
Yes.
I need to know.
We literally both do it, and then we send each other our stories.
There was one that we sent a while back where we wrote out the full thing.
Oh, but yeah.
That was tea.
Yeah.
I actually loved my story with that one.
Yep. That's what we're going to do today.
Yep.
So we're going to write out our story, and then we're going to tell you. And then last and not least,
oh my God,
we'll warn you guys with a little spoilers warning before we get into this, but we're going to do an ACOWAR review.
Yes.
Court of Wings and Ruin. I have been reading the book, and I'm not done with it. I'm at the last 150 pages.
Which,
and
as y'all know,
Sarah goes ham on the last 150 pages. So...
Yep. And I know I glanced a little bit at what's to come, and you're not ready. Like, it's...
Yeah, I'm nervous.
I started reading stuff, like, I just flipped through a couple things, and I was like, oh my God, she's gonna have a heart attack. Woo.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about that and where I'm at currently, and if I have any predictions, I guess. I don't know if I really have any predictions. I haven't thought about it, so that'll be a live prediction thing.
Okay, I'll have to not let my face give anything. I might just cover my face while you...
Yeah, we'll have to like turn our backs to each other, and then we'll just.
And then that way she can tell me, and I can be like,
"Ooh, yeah."
Or I might just try and stay stoic the whole time.
Or she might laugh at me because I'm guessing the wrong things or something. I don't know.
Can you hold a stoic face, like a dead face, without smiling, but like looking at someone? You're so good.
That's because I'm unfeeling.
Oh my God! You can like turn your emotions off. I can't. I can't even do it. I can't even.
You're trying so hard.
Okay, hold on. I need to think about
just
something
turn it off.
sad.
Just flip the switch. Turn off your humanity.
There's no. I can't.
Turn it off.
I can't.
Do like Stefan.
I'm trying to channel my inner Stefan. I can't. Oh, see, I can make a blank face, but I can't look at you. Because as soon as I look at you, I'm going to smile. Because you make me so happy.
Aw, that's so nice of you. You're doing it. That's really good.
Nope, and then as soon as you do it back, I can't do it anymore.
Okay. All right. That was a fun little experiment.
About?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Wings and Ruin.
We're going to do that at the end, guys. So we'll tell you before we get into it, just so that you know.
Yes.
Okay.
So that y'all don't get spoiled.
Yes.
I just want to do a little last episode follow-up.
Oh, really?
Just a little bit. We talked about Barbie, which I'm still just like all Barbie in my head. Like I've gotten a lot more stuff on Instagram. I sent you that video.
Yes, and you put it on our story.
Yes, go check out our April highlight for the Barbie reel that we posted. I didn't post it. I found it and I shared it. But it was when you walk out of the bathroom after the most waist slimming explosive diarrhea. It was Barbie Fashion Fairy Tale, and she was like strutting down the runway.
Yes. Which is also a callback to our You've Been Served episode where we talked about that. And I was literally like, it's like those Barbie like videos that you see on Reels. And
And you referenced that video and I was like, I found it. It has come to our feed.
It has graced my FYP.
Yes. Yes. But I have not played the piano in probably like 10 months.
Oh, really?
It's been a long time. I actually started a little Instagram page to try and keep myself accountable. And I have not posted since last May, which it's April 19th. So
yeah, almost a year.
Almost a year. And for some reason I was like, I wonder if I can learn the 12 Dancing Princesses intro on the piano. And I learned like the right hand part of it.
Wow.
It's cute.
That's exciting.
So that's fun. Like I just felt, I don't know.
Inspired.
I did, but then at the same time, I was like, you know what? I should really start playing again. We put in all the effort and money to get this thing moved here. His parents gave it to me. Like, pianos are incredibly expensive, especially one as nice as theirs. And I'm not using it. This thing is collecting dust. So I felt I needed to learn it. I actually took a video of myself trying to relearn the Beauty and the Beast intro because I knew that really well, like 10 years ago. Then tried to relearn it a year ago. Got pretty good. It's pretty much gone again. I probably need to start over because I can do a little bit and then I get to a point and my brain just goes, what? And my fingers are like, it's something, maybe this, nope, that's not it. So it's like 5 minutes of me clanking through it, trying to figure it out, but I'm trying to get back into it, but we'll see. This may be a one-off thing and I don't do anything else with it, but I've got the right hand of 12 Dancing Princesses.
Well, that's exciting.
There's that.
That's exciting.
You know.
That's really
trying
exciting.
to do things. Previous hobbies and passions, trying to re-spark those because I feel like I don't do anything outside of work. I'm like, I just melt into the couch. Like, watch TV. I'm like, let's do something.
Well, you read.
I do read. I do that. That is my one thing. But I'm like, I can do a little more. Do a little something.
Well, you're improving upon your vocabulary by reading.
Am I, though? I read fairy smut. Well, I'll tell you one side of my vocabulary that's
vocabulary.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I learned some words.
A lot since I knew you.
I've learned a lot of words, girl. I didn't know you could call it. I don't even want to say what I've read before.
Yeah.
Let's just say there's lots of words for lots of things that I didn't realize were, I'm like, that's a descriptor. Yep. See, I'll never look at the word. Hilt's the same. Or velvet is another word. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right. Well, let's just get into it because at this point we're at 32 minutes.
Oh God. Jeez.
So facts the other person may not know. Who's going first?
I can go first.
Okay.
Let me see if you know this.
Okay. Hit me.
Did you know that I permanently mauled my sister's face?
Maybe, but when you word it like that, it makes you sound terrible.
It does, but I do it for the
effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
You know, clickbait. Although I did permanently scar her face. Did you know that?
I don't know. Just go ahead and tell me.
Okay.
And I'll tell you if it reminds me of anything.
So I was in my old house. So at least at the oldest, I was 10.
Mm-hmm.
Youngest, I would say like maybe 6 or 7, somewhere in there. Well, I was given at school this, I think I got it from like the Scholastic Book Fair or something like that. And it was a little stuffed duck, but it had the head of a duck, but it wasn't a duck anywhere else. Like it had really long arms, and then it ended with flippers on its hands, and then flippers on its long, like dangly little legs. So it was like a little rag doll, but with the head of a duck. But in its hands and feet were magnets, so you could like stick it to the fridge, and it was like a little, like it could climb the fridge or whatever.
Okay.
Well, obviously at age 7 or 8, I didn't realize what a magnet really was yet. Like it was like, this is magic. What is going on? What can it stick to? I didn't realize it could only stick to things that were magnetic because I didn't know that word.
You tried to stick it to her forehead? Or
well, we stuck it to a lot of things. We went around the house. Annalise and I went around the house and we stuck it to a bunch of different stuff. Like, will it stick to this, chair? And it stuck, like the bar stools downstairs. We were like, does it stick to this? It does. But like it wouldn't stick to the computer or whatever. Like we tried to stick it to a bunch of stuff. And outside my parents' bedroom was this big, gigantic metal diamond wall decor display. Okay. This thing probably weighs, I would say, at least 12 to 15 pounds. It's pretty heavy. Maybe 20. This thing was huge. And it was like, you would think it'd be really screwed into the wall with it being such a heavy thing. Well, it was just sitting on like one big screw into a stud. Didn't know that at the time. I thought it was just in the wall attached. So I take my monkey thing, I call it the duck monkey, whatever, the magnetic thing, and I stick it, and it sticks to the diamond. And I'm like, Annalise, look, it sticks. Well, then I tried to take it off. So I ripped the little ducky, and the diamond thing came with it and smashed into Annalise's face and cut her right down her forehead. Yeah, well, if you know anything about head injuries, they bleed. So that thing strikes her right in the forehead, and it crashes to the ground. And of course, we start screaming. Annalise is screaming her head off because she obviously got hit in the face. Well, blood is now streaming down her face, like down onto her clothes. It looks like, it looked a lot worse than it was. And I just remember us both screaming. Mom and Dad come running because they heard a crash, and then we're screaming. They see the blood. They freak out. They're like, oh my God, what happened? Well, we wipe the blood away, and we see that it's just like a cut on her forehead. And my mom's like, oh my God, we got to go to the doctor. But obviously it's like, okay, we probably don't need to go to the ER because it's not like a huge, deep gash. If you keep a, paper towel or gauze pressed on it, it'll be fine. So we actually had a family friend who was a doctor, and my mom was like, I'll just drive over to her place and just see what she says. Well, she drives over there, and she's like, oh yeah, it's just a small cut. Like she really doesn't need stitches. She just needs some like adhesive glue. And there's like some glue that you can use to like glue your face together, like some sort of injuries. I didn't know that was a thing. So they put some of that glue on there, and they squished her forehead back together, and she had like a bandage on it.
Wow.
And yeah. And now to this day, she's got like I'd say it's like a 1/2-inch scar right between her eyebrows, which it could have been worse. It could have gone like her eye or anywhere else, but it just cut right here in her forehead.
Good job, Madeline.
Yeah.
Best sister award.
Yep. I've scarred my sister in many ways, but physically I've scarred her as well. Yes. I've probably emotionally scarred her too. Sorry about that. I apologize. But it's also a rite of passage.
Yeah.
Like I can't help that I was the older sister. I was born first, and that you were the younger sister. I'm sorry. I can't help that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know if you knew that or not.
I don't think I knew the background story. No.
Yeah. But yeah, I scarred her face forever.
Wow.
But then we got to say it was her Harry Potter scar, and then it was okay.
Right.
Because before she was like, when she got a little older, she'd be like, my sister did this. Oh my God. And she'd be like, so whatever. But then we were like, it's Harry Potter. Ooh, because as an older sister, I would manipulate her, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So I'd be like, no. It's your Harry Potter scar. See, I don't have one like that. I'm so jealous. She'd be like, it's Harry Potter scar. I'm like, yes, point for me. Did you ever do that when like you accidentally, like maybe like if you're fighting with your brothers or something and you accidentally hurt them and they start crying?
Yeah, I'd be like,
and
oh, it doesn't hurt that bad.
No.
You're okay.
You're fine.
You're good. You're good.
You're fine. Do you want me to
walk it off?
Shh, you're fine. Hey, don't cry. Yeah. Don't cry. I'll give you something. Do you want this? Yep. Do you want a dessert? I'll get you a snack. I'll go get you a snack from the pantry. We're not supposed to have snacks, but I'll go get you one if you stop crying.
Yeah, I absolutely.
Please shut up. Don't call mom. Mom comes in with a wooden spoon. What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's an older sibling thing to like, please don't cry. Please don't cry. I didn't mean it.
Yeah. Well, when I was younger, I would roughhouse with my brothers, but then it got to a certain point where it was like, we would still roughhouse, so to speak, but they had to be softer because I was a girl, you know? So it was them
they
doing
were getting bigger.
The roughhousing and arguing and whatever. But anyway, but yes, I do recall doing that many a time.
Yeah. We were vicious. Annalise would use her nails and her teeth. She'd bite me and like scratch me and stuff. It got really... I just kind of used like the fact that I was bigger than her. Like I would use my like the force of my body in that way. We'd tussle, like we'd roll around, like fighting. At one point, many a time to end the fighting, I would sit on top of her. Like she'd be on her back, and I'd sit on top of her, and I'd pin her arms under my knees so that she can't move, and then I'd tickle her.
Wow.
That's mean.
That is mean.
I trap her there for like a good, 30 seconds.
Wow.
And she'd be laughing, but she'd be like, I hate this. This is torture.
Well, yeah, because you're tickling her.
Yeah. But
do you know your tickle like receptors and your pain receptors are the same? Yeah. So you're technically torturing her. I am. Literally.
I was. But she was laughing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because again, you manipulated her into thinking that it was funny.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
She turned out fine.
We love you, Annalise. We love you.
I'm sorry for everything I ever did. I'm sorry. So what's something that I don't know about you?
Well, listen, I was not as bad a kid as you were, obviously. So I don't... I'm just kidding. No,
that's probably true.
But none of mine are as
crazy.
So, did I ever tell you I was in a math club before?
A math club?
Yeah. Yep. I don't remember much about it. This is going to be a short story. I don't remember much about it except math problems and Rubik's cubes. But it was like back when I was in 5th or 6th grade, I think, somewhere in there.
Oh, so you were, okay.
I was young.
It was serious math, though.
But
I mean, once you reach 6th grade, it's like you're not doing addition.
I mean, honestly, I feel like I learned algebra, for example, in like early middle school.
Yeah.
And then because I kept moving, I just kept learning algebra over and over and over again. So by the time I got to high school, I was like, I'm a genius. Like, anyway. But yeah, so I was in a math club. Wow. I don't remember for how long. Maybe only a couple months, but...
Wow. I did not know that.
It could have even been younger than 5th grade. I don't recall, but...
Wow. Did you, like, want to be in the math club? Like, you were like, I want this.
I love math. I still love math to this day. Like, with a passion, I love math. And the harder the question, the more fun I have.
No.
Yeah. But then you give me 2 + 2, and I can't tell you what that is. So, it's one of
She's like, I love it. I'm not good at it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not good at like 7 + 8, for example. I still have to think. I have to think in my head.
15.
Even like 7 + 6, 6 + 8, like those kinds of numbers. I don't know why.
What's 8
those
+ 9?
Numbers. 17.
Yes.
Okay. Took me a second. Sorry. But.
Oh, I just had an idea.
But you want to show the Pythagorean theorem in front of me? I mean, I got you.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah. Did you have to do the Pythagorean spiral, like, thing and, like, draw it out and stuff?
Mm-hmm. Do you have that still?
I do. It's at my parents' house right now.
I don't know where mine is, but I had it for the longest time. But I gave each one a different theme.
So what'd you do?
Well, I know one of them was like your favorite animal, and I drew like an elephant, obviously, like a family of elephants walking in the Sahara and whatever. One of them was like I gave it my zodiac sign, so I put a scorpion. Like I drew a scorpion.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't remember what all of them were. I would have to look.
So each panel was a different thing that was like about you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Cool. For ours, we had to like pick a theme for the whole thing. And it could be whatever we wanted. And of course, this was geometry, so I would have been 14, 15, somewhere in there. I still do, cartoons. And I was really in my cartoon phase at 15. I know, whatever. But I did mine where it was the first one. Oh my God.
I found it.
Oh my God, wait, hold on.
I have a picture.
Let me pull up my picture because
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you scared me.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Mine was, I have a picture. I know I do. But it was the main character and then the funny sidekick and then the villain. And I repeated that pattern throughout the whole thing.
So this was my elephant spread. It was like a sunset with the elephants or whatever.
It's like Lion King-esque.
And then this was like my heritage. So German and Irish.
I love how you drew the little...
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
The scorpion.
That's really good.
For that. This was the night sky. It was... I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I have the Eiffel Tower, but I also have that one in here.
Okay.
Disney.
Of course.
Obviously. My family tree.
That's pretty.
Piano, because I liked the piano. This one says... Oh, I put in a quote. It says, the hardest part of moving on is not looking back.
Ooh.
And then I put all the places I had lived up to this point, like all the different states.
Oh, wow. So how many was it at that point?
Oregon, Iowa, New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Tennessee. Nice. Which I think is actually still
the maximum.
What it is. And then a dream catcher. I don't remember why. I think because I was obsessed with Twilight around that time too. I mean, I've been obsessed with Twilight for many a year, but anyway.
Okay, so we've got, of course, Gravity Falls.
Oh, of course.
Which was my favorite. So we had Dipper Mabel and Bill Cipher, which is making a comeback, by the way. Apparently there's like a Gravity Falls book that just came out at Barnes & Noble. There's like a whole table for it. I don't know. I haven't gotten it yet. I don't know. Then the next is Steven Universe. I was huge into Steven Universe. Oh my God. So it's got Steven Pearl and the mystery villain who we find out later is Yellow Diamond. If you know, you know. Then we've got Over the Garden Wall, which I highly recommend this October. Go watch Over the Garden Wall. I think it's on Peacock. It's just a 10 episode little short little thing. It is so freaking cute. Elijah Wood voices the main guy.
Oh, okay.
Wirt is his name. And it's so cute. And then for the last 3, I had Adventure Time. So I had Finn, Jake, and then Fire Princess as the... I guess she's technically not a villain, but she fit nicely in this last one because her hair is so tall.
Yes.
So I did a spiral of cartoons. I was so proud of that thing.
Nice.
So anyway,
cute.
What was we talking about? Sorry.
I was on my thing about how I was.
Oh
in math
yes, club. You were in math club. Dumb nerd.
My dad's a chemical engineer. What do you expect from me?
Well, my dad's an electrical engineer. I'm not a psycho.
I actually loved chemistry in school.
No.
I loved, with a passion, loved chemistry.
Hated it.
For a split second, I thought, maybe I'm going to be a chemical engineer just like my dad.
Wow.
But then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be a chemical engineer just like my dad.
She said, actually...
You know what? I'm actually going to do
I don't hate myself.
Medicine, which actually, since 3rd grade, I wanted to be an OBGYN. Because I just wanted to deliver babies. And then... Once you get into the liability of all of that stuff, I'm like, maybe I should pick something else.
Yeah.
So anyway,
you're like, I could deliver animal babies and
be a vet. You know what's actually hilarious though, and I think I've told you this before, but throughout my childhood, I had a lot of different interests, a lot of different ways that I thought I would go in terms of a career and what I wanted to do. But every step along the way, I would create stuff. Like I would. When I wanted to be an oceanographer, I created posters for ocean life, ocean creatures. When I wanted to be a veterinarian back before I wanted to be an OBGYN, I had a tissue box, an empty tissue box, and I would draw all the animals, and I wrote zoo on my tissue box, and I would have all the drawn animals in my zoo. So it was like stuff like that. It was stuff like that. And so I would literally, like, every single step of the way I was being creative, and I was drawing something, I was creating something, whatever.
Yeah.
And that always took different forms, but it was like everything led to me being a designer, being a creator of some kind. Whatever. So I don't know.
So
I just think it's kind of cool. Like, I guess when you're growing up in school, you're always told, like, you know, this artist was living in 1800s and he's dead and now he's famous. And it's like, okay, so I'm not going to be famous as an artist until I die.
Right. Sweet. Or make it. Yeah.
Right. So I just never looked at it as a career.
Yeah, I feel like at least when we were in school, nowadays you can do and be whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like we need to go back a little bit in that regard. But like, being an artist was something that, unless you were incredibly talented and got recognized early by some big someone, like some big company who would contract you to do stuff or something like that. Unless you were that level, it wasn't a feasible job that you could do in real life. And I was like, okay, guess I can't do anything creative because that's just gonna have to stay a hobby, I guess, because there's no way to make money off of this.
Right.
And then I went to pre-med, like an idiot. That was so bad. I remember researching other majors while I was in my chemistry class for that freaking,
Well, honestly, just to be honest for a second, you are not a blood person.
I'm not. I think.
And you're not a bodily functions person.
I'm really not.
So even me looking in, I was like, you're going to have to get used to blood real quick, girl, if you want to be a nurse.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to be a nurse.
Or
I wanted
whatever,
to be
you know.
a physician's assistant.
Right.
And that was tied, like, that was pushed really, really hard on me because someone in my family is a physician's assistant, and her name is actually also Madeline.
Hey, girl.
Hey. I don't think she listens to this podcast.
Okay.
But she and her husband make a buttload of money. Like, she definitely makes six figures by herself. He makes six figures by himself. They are loaded. In fact, I don't want to misspeak, but I'm pretty sure at one point I was told that they have an island.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like a small something, but they like own this land that's like an island.
So when are you inviting us? That's what I want.
That's what I'm wondering. I think the last time I saw them was my wedding. But it was kind of like, we have to invite you because you're family. But it's like extended. It's like they're like a cousin, but like technically my dad's second cousins or something. Like, it's pretty distant. But yeah, I want to be invited to that island. But
yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, and so she was a physician's assistant, and they were like, Madeline, you should do what she does. I was like, okay. I really was only in it for the money. I was like, 6 figures. Yeah. I'll do that.
But it takes you 25 years and tons more student loans to get to that point.
Exactly. And I was like, doing something for the money is never a good reason to do something.
Yes.
My opinion.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's do something you're actually passionate about and won't hate yourself for doing the rest of your life.
My parents always ingrained in us, like, do what you love and the money will come. So if you love doing this thing, then you do it and you do a good job at it. Yeah. And you'll make money.
Yeah.
So
it was kind of like that, I'd say, with us, but it was also like, okay, but you know,
I mean, within reason. Obviously, my parents wouldn't have wanted me to be a stripper or something.
Or like I'm going to be a YouTuber. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be a stripper. Don't be a YouTuber. Yeah. And definitely don't put the two together and be on OnlyFans. Like, don't do it. But like, it was kind of the same in my family with, you know, we want you to have passions. We want you to love what you do. But you need to also be realistic. And, you know, if you want to live a really comfortable life, then you need to have a job that provides that, because we lived a very comfortable life because of what my dad does and what my mom does and everything. So it was like, we were very fortunate in that way. And they were like, okay, if you want to live in a house where, you know, you and your siblings each get your own room and you're whatever. Like, if you want to live like that, you'll need to choose a career that will give you that because, you know, this is what you're used to. And so it was kind of like that, where it was like, okay, be realistic. You don't want to live in a box. You want to be able to afford groceries.
Right.
Maybe do something, whatever. So,
yeah.
I don't make a lot of money now,
but you haven't been doing it all that long.
I haven't, and I've just started. And honestly, I'm making almost the median of the average of what my profession is in the state of Tennessee. So it's like,
and you're good.
I'm fine.
You're solid.
Yeah, Tyler's a breadwinner in this family. he makes the money because he chose computer science, and that man's a genius.
Okay, well, let's see. We're at an hour.
This is
part gonna be the longest episode ever.
That's fine. Okay. I love it.
All right. Well,
we'll rapid fire these next two.
We'll rapid fire these next.
Okay.
Two.
Okay. Number 2. I'm pretty sure you don't know this, but I saved someone's life once. Like, genuinely, I saved their life.
Okay. How?
So, I saved them from falling off a cliff. Genuinely.
When?
Yeah.
How? Why?
Okay.
Where were you?
So this was in 2015, somewhere back in there. And I went on a mission trip with my church to South Dakota. And so while we were there, it wasn't a part of the mission trip, but while we were there is the Badlands National Park. So that's around in that area. And so we went and visited that. Well, we climbed up to like the very top of one of the like peaks, and you could look over the ledge to see it was one of the lookout spots. Well, they didn't have a freaking rope or anything to like, hey, stay back, because it's supposed to be like a national, they don't want it to face it.
But,
So he just said, stay behind this. Like, don't go past that. It's like, okay. Well, one of the guys that was in my group, he was not paying attention, running around, being dumb. Guys were being guys. He was a little bit younger than me, so he was maybe 13 or something like that. So he was like, running off doing this, that, and the other. And I noticed that he was like going to go over the ledge because he like skidded and was like turning, but he wasn't seeing where he was going. And I had to grab the back of his shirt before he was probably a foot from the edge.
Oh, really?
And he was like gonna go over, and I like grabbed his shirt and like ripped it back, and he like fell backwards. And he was like, oh my God, I didn't realize the ledge was right there. I was like, yeah, that's a drop. That's like 20 feet into rocks.
That's terrifying.
So if he fell, he probably wouldn't have died, but he would have been severely injured.
Yeah.
He could have died.
Good job, Madeline.
So, thank you. But yeah, I like yanked his shirt. Like, I grabbed the back of his shirt and like yanked him to the ground. So that he wouldn't go over the edge. He's an idiot.
Wow.
So yeah, I didn't know if you knew that.
I don't think I knew that.
There you go.
Wow. See, and we're over
I'm
here
a lifesaver.
We're over here saying that we don't know what to tell each other because we think we know everything.
Well, I was going through my photos and I saw photos from this trip and I went, does she know that I saved this guy from going over this edge of the cliff? I don't think so.
I don't think I knew that. At least I don't recall.
Boys roughhousing on the edge of a cliff. Smart.
Real smart. My next one is I've seen Dora, the Wiggles, and Bear in the Big Blue House in concert. Did you know that?
No. You saw the Wiggles?
Yes. I did. I saw all of them.
Oh my God. Were they all in like a group, or was it?
No, it was separate times, separate occasions.
Wow.
Okay, I distinctly remember Dora and Bear in the Big Blue House. The Wiggles one is really hazy.
Yeah.
But I feel like I recall it.
Yeah. So was the Dora one, was it like...
It was just some person in a Dora costume.
Oh, so it was
like with a big old head.
Yeah. Okay. I was wondering.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's what it was.
Was it like a girl with a short haircut and like she was wearing the outfit, or was she full...
I think she was in the costume.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then it was the same with Bear in the Big Blue House, which I loved. I think his name was Cheese. He was the mouse.
The little mouse.
Oh my God, I loved him.
I just love when stories start out that way. Is that the viral sound?
Love it.
Love it.
Yep, that is the viral sound.
That's him.
But I loved that show. It was so good. I also really loved Big Comfy Couch. Did you ever watch that? That one was really good. That one was a girl who was a clown, and she had like her little town or whatever, and there wasn't even really, like, each episode, I guess, had a different plot line. I don't remember all of them, but it was essentially her, and she would, like, solve problems with her friends in the town or whatever. And there was always, like, a carpet stretch time thing, and she would, like, lay on her clock
and she'd do the clock
and
thing
she'd do the
with
clock
her legs.
thing with her leg. Yep.
I know that.
Yep. And then there were, like, there was a little dust bunny segment that would live under the couch. Like, these little dust bunnies lived under the couch.
I never watched that, but I know the clock thing.
I loved that one.
Yeah.
And Dragon Tales was another big one that I loved. Dragon Tales. Yep.
Wow. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I've got a couple for my last one.
Pick your favorite.
There's 2 favorites.
Okay. Tell me both of them if you can do it fast.
I don't think I can.
Okay.
Okay. Well, the first one you might know, but do you know
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man? Yes, the Muffin
Man.
Man. That lives on Drury Lane. When I crashed my mom's car with a golf cart.
Yes, I know that one.
Okay, I thought so. Okay, well, did you know that I went to a summer drama camp once thinking I could do musical theater?
Madeline. Oh, Lord. What kind of camp rock story are you about to serve me now?
Okay. Let me get in character. So this was between 8th grade and freshman year of high school. So I was like, okay, who am I going to be? Because, you know, you're going into high school. You got to figure real. This is me. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be now. Yeah, I was doing the Disney everything.
The Disney knees, the Converse, all of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I see it. It's a
vision.
vision.
The tall Converse that go up to your calf,
absolutely.
Which I wish I had those. I never actually had those.
I never had those.
I had
either,
high
but
top
I had the
ones.
high top Converse, yeah.
We were cool.
Mm-hmm.
How many
Mine were teal.
Mine were red.
Wow.
Okay. And then I had a pair of short Converse that weren't the high tops.
I never had the short ones.
And they were pink.
I only ever had those high tops.
Yeah, I hated the short ones. They were dumb.
Yeah.
Wow, I miss my Converse. Where was I? Oh yeah. I went
Drama camp.
So yeah, it was summer before freshman year, and I wanted to try my hand at theater because I liked musicals. I think I'd seen my first musical at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And
what was your first musical?
First musical was Wicked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I came in swinging. Like, I was like,
my first one was Waitress. Actually, when we went and saw Waitress together as a group, that was the first one I'd ever been to.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I love musicals.
Outside of, like, school performances.
Right.
Whatever,
like,
I mean? But anyway.
The Spring Musicale.
Sorry, I keep messing everything up. Go ahead.
What are you talking about?
Well, I just keep talking and interrupting you.
No. You're not interrupting. You're fine.
Okay.
Oh, my. But yeah, so it was a summer, like, it was a couple weeks. I would say it was probably 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And every day, or at least maybe 3 times a week or something like that, we'd go to the school, like the high school, and the drama teacher would lead, you know, however many kids. And some of the kids that were already in theater would come and do the camp too, to like teach, but also to kind of be a part of it and learn things or whatever. So it was, age range was probably between 13 to 16, somewhere in there. So like you could join it even if you were already in high school and you just wanted to learn more about theater and maybe be a part of the class and do all of that. It was like band camp kind of, but you didn't learn anything official. So we learned things like the stage and like stage direction, how things worked. We learned about all the components of a show and lights and sound and all these things. And then we were also learned things like improv and how to do that and different improv exercises. And so we did a couple of different, I don't remember them now, but we would do different sessions of different improv things. And you had to go up there, and I'm already bad at improv. I can't even do it right now. Like, it was really terrifying, actually, because you had to get up and you had to speak in front of people. And I don't think I put that together. That's what this was. Yeah. Like, you had to actually go up and do something. Right. I remember at one point you had to present a musical number and from a musical, and you had to perform it, but you could do it in groups. So me and a couple of I think one of my friends was in it, and then one of her friends was in it. So us 3, we were together and we sang The Circle of Life. It was as bad as you think it was.
Wow.
It was
bad.
What
part were you?
I think we just sang it all together.
Is that who you were?
Yeah. Nah. Anyway, I don't remember. I think I stood up there and was just like,
wow.
Like, I think that's what I did.
Wow.
Thank you. But at the end of the camp, there was like a performance night where you bring your parents to like show what you've done. Mm-hmm. Well, there was a mini play that we were practicing, and we were split into groups. So there would be like group A, group B, and group C, and there'd be 3 different performances. And so I think I was in group A or whatever with 6 other people, and we did a little scene, and it was cute. Well, then we had to do a monologue as well. Girl.
Oh, boy.
We were assigned monologues, and we couldn't pick them or whatever. They were assigned to us. Mine was the dumbest thing I think I've ever heard in my whole life, and I'm still...
What is it?
It was
Say your monologue.
I don't remember the words, but I just remember it was about mac and cheese.
What?
It was like a scene of me getting home from the store and asking my brother to like help me unload the groceries, and him asking me if I got mac and cheese or not because he like only ate mac and cheese or something. It was something so stupid. And it was a monologue, so I had to, like, say my thing, and then there would be jokes added in there, and I would say them, and the audience would dead silent. And I was like,
oh, no.
Maybe I don't want to do theater.
Cheese.
Literally cheese. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was bad.
That's crazy.
It was traumatizing. And I remember practicing it and being like, Mom, this is the dumbest thing I've ever read in my whole life. She's like, well, just do it. It'll be fine. Like, just talk with your teacher, talk to your friends about it, and like, da-da-da. And I remember after, I think I was talking with my dad, and he was like, yeah, that was a really rough one, but you did really well with it. Like, you did well with what you were given.
Right.
It just was really bad, the content. And I was like, I know, I look like an idiot. Maybe I'll do something less humiliating like marching band.
Yeah, just so
something
long as
less
you don't
stupid.
fall down or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow.
It was so stupid, nobody laughed.
I didn't know that. I would have laughed for you if I was there.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
You would have laughed at me. You'd be like,
I definitely would. But somebody would have been laughing. That was the whole point.
Brother, this guy stinks.
Okay, if I was there and I was laughing at you, you'd have been laughing right along with me.
I tried to look it up to see if it was like a common, like maybe practice monologue or something. I couldn't find it. So
oh no,
it was tragic.
Tragic. Okay, well, my last one is that I ate escargot on my cruise, and it was actually delicious.
No. That's snails.
That's snails. Yep. It was actually delicious.
No.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
What did it taste like?
It tasted like...
snails.
No, it tasted
Boogers.
It almost tasted like garlic bread a little bit. Like it had a garlicky, buttery flavor to it. And if you've never had mussels, because you can't have shellfish, but for anybody out there who's had mussels, it's very similar in texture to mussels. It was, I'm not even joking you, and I'm not exaggerating.
What texture were they? Was it like
delicious.
Squishy?
It was not like boogers. Okay. It was not like
I'm imagining like sluggy snails.
It was not like oyster vibes.
Okay.
Like that kind of thing.
Okay.
It was more so like the texture of a really soft potato. It was like a really soft potato, but it had a little bit, like, not so soft where it just disintegrates. It has a little bit of a
springiness to it.
No, not springiness.
Or like,
it was like, have you ever had the oyster of a turkey?
What?
So on a turkey or even a chicken, there's on the thigh, there's it's called like the oyster, and it's a really tender, delicious piece of meat on the bird. And it literally pops out. It's like a little circle shape.
Oh, that's weird.
It's delicious. It's the best piece of meat you'll ever eat in your entire life. But anyway, that's kind of the texture it had, I guess. It was really
You're
good.
Not really selling it.
I'm really not, but it was actually delicious.
It was like the oyster of the chicken. What?
It was actually really good. Genuinely, it was really good. And they had it like in this garlicky oil type of sauce.
That's why it tasted like garlic
so
bread.
that's why that's literally, it took on the flavor of whatever it was cooked in. So I didn't eat just snail by itself without any seasoning on it, but it was really good. And it was free. So I was like, if it's free, I might as well try it. When am I ever going to get free escargot again? I wouldn't say that I loved it to the point where I would buy it at a restaurant. You know what I mean? But in terms of it being free and I tried it, it wasn't something so bad that I wouldn't eat it again. you know, but it's not something I would seek out to eat all the time.
Well, I'm proud of you for trying it. I'm
kind of experimental in that sense. I'll try anything once, most of the time, within limits.
Right.
I'll try anything once. And if I don't like it, I just won't eat it again.
I like to think I'm the same way within reason. Mm-hmm. But like, once we get foreign,
meat on a bone, Madeline. I love you to death, but
that's
your within reason is much smaller than my within reason.
Well, yes, but like, I mean, like, okay, I'm not gonna try escargot or calamari or what's the fish eggs?
Caviar.
I'm not gonna try caviar.
Or there's roe, which is another type of fish.
Well, either one. I'm not eating any fish eggs.
Too. Anyway, it's fine.
That's crazy. My dad.
I've had eel before too.
You've had eel?
Mm-hmm. It's actually really good. It's very sweet. It's a very sweet meat. Oh my God, I never told my sweet meat story. That's something you don't know about me.
Okay. This is a perfect segue into this improv story that we're going to hear because I need to hear this.
Oh my gosh. I was going to tell this story a couple weeks ago on an episode and we forgot to tell it, so I cut it out entirely. But here's the story. Okay, so this is the story of a time a fish bit my cooter. Okay, it bit my sweetmeat, so to speak. And essentially what had happened was I was at, it was Glen Lake, is what it's called, in New York. Mm-hmm. And it was my great-uncle's property. Anyway, somebody in the family, their property on the lake. Mm-hmm. We were swimming in the water. It was me, my Nana, and my mom. Okay? And we're just kind of floating there. And we're all like three in a little cluster. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we're just kind of floating, we're chilling, whatever. All of a sudden, something bit me down there. Okay?
In your sweetmeat.
Not, this is TMI for everybody. Not the lip, but the part next to it. Like right where your underwear line meets, you know what I'm saying? Yep. So that's where I was bit by something. And I screamed, holy shit! Like, I just screamed it, okay? And I got out of that water so fast. Like, you were saying the time that you swam with squid and you just about ran on water. Yeah. I was about the same.
Oh my God.
Trying to get out of this damn water. I finally got out of the water, and I'm, like, just writhing and, like, being violated by some fucking fish in the water. Oh my God. And my mom and my Nana were just laughing. Like, what the hell just happened? Like, you just freaked out. And I screamed to them, like, a fish bit my cooter, or whatever I screamed. And sound carries on a lake, so I'm sure tons of people heard. And I'm just like, oh, geez.
Oh, my
God. I've been scared to go in that lake ever since then.
Oh, my gosh.
I think it was probably just a small, like, maybe 10-inch or less fish. It was a little nibbler. It wanted a piece of that. That's all I'm saying. I didn't want a piece of that, though. That was... Anyway.
Oh, my God. That's so funny.
So that's the time a fish bit my cooter.
Wow.
Yep.
Dang.
And it will stick with me for the rest of my life.
That would. Yeah.
I mean,
almost
imagine
getting your virginity taken by a fish.
Literally, imagine it. Okay, you're sitting there in the water, minding your own damn business, when something all of a sudden bites the area that should not be bitten. Okay,
unless intended.
Unless intended.
I'm like trying to think of a dirty joke here. Oh, that God. Was really bad.
Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would freak anybody out. Like, and you're not expecting it. You're just kind of chilling,
especially in a sensitive area.
And I'm with my grandmother. Like, granted, my family, you know my family.
Well, yeah.
We cuss at each other. We say, we use dirty talk, whatever. Yep. We're just that kind of family. Yep. But the way that I screamed, oh shit, in my Nana's ear was like, you probably shouldn't scream that in your Nana's ear. Right. Granted, my Nana has called me a jackass before. And that's okay, because that's how it is in my family.
It's fine.
But I'm just saying that, you know.
Wow.
Anyway.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing. I'm trying to make a joke about fishy. Never mind.
I have another joke about that, actually.
You do?
Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
Is it too inappropriate for this?
It's not. What?
My family will also call, like, turning your seat warmer on.
Mm-hmm.
We'll call it, like, a clam bake. Or we'll or we'll make jokes like, does somebody smell fish? Like cooking fish? Or
clam bake is
crazy! Oh my god, we've done other ones too. Oh Jesus, what did we call it?
A clam
baked
bake.
Oyster. We've called it baked oyster before. So that's a little insight into my family. So
it's amazing. I actually love that. I love your face. Wow.
But that's what I mean when we're all about the dirty talk.
Oh yeah.
You know, we don't care. There is no filters.
Yeah.
I
mean, they gave you. Is this the same aunt that gave you the penis bottle opener?
It is.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. I've met her, tracking. Right? At your graduation, like, dinner thing?
She might have been there. We call her Aunt Cool Whip. She's got, like, blonde hair for sure.
Yeah.
She's tall.
Taller. Okay, I think I've met her.
Okay, her name is Kim, but we call her Aunt Cool Whip.
Aunt Cool Whip. Okay, I think I've met her before.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to piece together. Put faces with the people that are talking about.
And then her husband is Uncle Bubba. So we call him Uncle Bubba. His name is John. We call him Uncle Bubba. We call Aunt Cool Whip ACW for short. So we'll be like, yeah, ACW.
So it's Kim, but Aunt Cool Whip, but ACW for short.
Yeah, so like if we're texting about her, like texting, are we inviting someone?
ACW.
Have we invited whoever? We're like,
is
we
ACW
invited
coming?
ACW? Yeah. And it stands for Aunt Cool Whip.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
See,
and Uncle Bubba is UB.
The only, like, we have like grandma and grandpa, Nana and Papa, and then all my aunts and uncles are just like their name, except for my Aunt Bug. She goes by Aunt Bug. Her name is Sharon, but she goes by Aunt Bug. And I don't really know why, actually. Should probably ask.
Yeah.
But yeah, she goes by Aunt Bug, and that's how we've always called her.
Mm-hmm.
But Hayden said I need to ask her for a nickname for me for Elijah because Madeline's too long for Elijah to say. And so he's like, ask Aunt Bug if, see if we can come up with a name for you. And I was like, okay. Yeah. Ooh, hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Do you want to go through search history?
I really want to tell you about my search history.
Well, why don't you start?
Okay.
This is the whole reason for everything.
I'm not going to tell you what this is. I'm just going to go through what prompted it and then what I searched up and then what I learned. Okay, that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
So here's what prompted it. I'm scrolling on social media.
Oh, God.
Specifically Facebook Reels.
Okay.
And just, you don't ever know what you're getting on Facebook Reels. Yeah. I saw some video that said something about octopus. And when they mate, the male will literally tear off his pee-pee and give it to the girl. And the video said, this is literally like the epitome of a go fuck yourself. That's what the video said. Okay. So now I'm curious. My attention has been sparked. So I looked it up. And I looked up, how do octopus mate? That's what I looked up. That's what I looked up. And what I learned, it's not, they don't tear off their pee-pee and say, go fuck yourself. Okay. Let me look it up and like describe to you what they actually. I'm not going to show you pictures. Well, I might show you a diagram, but
okay, you can show me a diagram.
How to fix cross eyes? How do
call back?
How do octopus mate? Okay, so most typically, the mating happens at a distance. Okay, there is a special arm that is had on an octopus, and it's his third right arm, known as hectocotylus, or the sex arm. Okay.
That's crazy.
He will extend his arm. So like the male octopus is out over here, the female is out over here. He extends his arm and shoves it up into some female cavity. Okay. And that's where the impregnation happens. Okay. This is a diagram.
Like in the beak? That's the only thing I can think of. Ew.
So this is a picture.
Oh!
So this is the male.
Ew.
I'm guessing.
Ew.
And he has all of his little organs, whatever, up here. It extends down the arm. So he shoves it up. This looks like it's going into the gills of the female. It goes into the something,
ear thing,
and it goes up in there, and that's where their ovaries are. And so the male will extend his arm up into the female's head, and put his stuff there.
What on earth?
Yeah, they literally call it a mating arm. And this is like zoomed in on it, like it's stringy at the end. I don't know. Anyway, fun fact. That's what I looked up and what I learned about octopus. So they don't tear off their pee-pee and give it to the female, but it's a different process. It into so the video was wrong.
Hole in their ear, equivalent of the ear.
The video
their eyes here and their
the video was wrong, very wrong. But I learned something I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I never thought to look up how octopus mate because I didn't think that I had to until that moment.
Well,
in my life.
Usually don't think about those things.
Yeah. And so.
Oh, see, now I'm thinking weird stuff.
But I thought of you because I was like, oh, octopus.
Thanks.
I was going to send you the video, but I wanted to check its validity before I sent it to you.
Right.
And then it ended up being wrong. So I was like, I'm just going to tell Madeline what I learned at a very special moment.
Wow.
So for everybody who all
learned a little something today.
Mm-hmm. Never too old to learn something.
See, now I'm thinking about other stuff. Now I feel really weird.
Like what?
Like how do whales mate?
Let's look it up.
Or like jellyfish.
How?
Or all fish in general.
Well, most fish, females will lay eggs and the boys will come up and lay their stuff on top.
Oh.
That's how fish do it.
It's an external.
Yes. There is no person-to-person situation happening.
I wonder if it's the same with... Well, whales are mammals. So they have to do... Okay.
Okay, so how do jellyfish mate?
Mammals have to do a little hanky-panky?
Okay, so it's kind of the same for jellyfish with fish. So the females will release their eggs into fertilized water that have been fertilized by the males.
Ah.
So the males release their doohickeys.
So it's like a petri dish thing where they like, okay, here's the egg, here's this stuff, mix it together.
Mm-hmm.
Baby.
Yep. Weird. And then how do whales mate? Let's see.
Yeah, I was thinking like whales, dolphins. These are the things. That's where my brain's going. That is so...
Okay. So this one is much more. This one is much more body to body.
Whoa.
All right. So
they get freaky.
First off, I gotta get
She's got to sit up for this.
Oh no. Lord have mercy. Okay.
We have guests that are coming in 30 minutes. We better hurry up.
Okay. So first off, multiple males will compete for the same female.
Oh, that's
so there's a courting
classic.
That happens.
Yeah.
It's sometimes called the heat run.
Whoa.
All right. There's a courtship ritual that happens.
A ritual. Okay.
It includes swimming in a line, rolling, flipping, and tail fluking.
Ooh, this was a little show.
It's a little show.
Ooh,
okay, to attract
that's fun. And the ladies are watching.
Then you have mating. Mating can involve different positions.
What?
So this says, such as
whales doing a reverse cowgirl,
belly to belly, or turned on their sides.
Okay.
Fertilization happens internally. So there's something inserted, so to speak.
I did not think we'd be
There's evidence that females choose a particular male. The specific criteria are not fully understood, though size and strength are suspected to play factors.
So she's like,
you're not
pulls out a ruler. She's like, let's
God.
Compare.
Yeah. And then it just says some males will mate with multiple females.
I did not think that we'd be talking
about
how
some males hang out in breeding areas to maximize mating opportunities.
They go to the club and
to find females.
They go to the strip club.
Mm-hmm.
Find the ladies. Okay.
We all learned something today about
I hope
mating
you all
rituals.
learned something.
Oh gosh. Well, okay. Hit me with something that you learned, I guess. Something you looked
I don't even
up.
know if I don't know if there's a really great segue from your story to mine.
Well, my next one's way different too. So.
Well,
that's the point. Your search
that's
history
the thing.
is different.
Unfortunately, mine is all right. So, I also watched a video that made me Google this. Okay. In fact, both of mine are seeing a video and going, "Hold on,
that was mine too.
I gotta look this up." So,
which you should do, by the way.
Yes, confirm.
Don't just accept a video as it is.
Yes.
Look it up, research.
Yeah, learn. Yeah. So it was a video talking about the Snow White movie.
Okay.
And the movie ends apparently with a celebration throughout the kingdom, and everyone is dressed in white.
Yep.
Well, the video was comparing it to P. Diddy's white party.
Yep.
So I looked up what that was.
Okay.
And what happened. So I don't know if you know a whole lot about it, but white parties were a series of exclusive celebrity-studded events held between 1998 and 2009.
Okay.
These parties were known for their very strict all-white dress code and were held in various locations. And they attracted a mix of a lot of high-profile celebrities, old money elite. Like they were like the hot ticket parties to go to. Well, obviously we all know that the P. Diddy like lawsuit stuff has been happening recently, but a recent lawsuit accuses Diddy of sexually assaulting a 16-year-old boy at this kid's first white party at Diddy's first white party in 1998. So the teen was hoping to break into the music industry, and Diddy promised stardom, and he said, well, he started making unwanted like sexual advances under the disguise of it being like a rite of passage. Like, don't you want to be famous? Well, you need to let me do this. It's sick.
Gross.
There's more, like, there are a dozen lawsuits allegedly calling sexual assault, rape, and coercion. They're saying other claims saying that at these parties there were drug-laced drinks, sex trafficking, and like both men and women have come forward of tales of abuse of all of this at the white parties and stuff. So I just went down this rabbit hole. So what I looked up was P. Diddy white party. And I was like, I've heard about it. And everybody keeps referencing it, but I don't actually know what it was. And yeah, it was just a series of parties that claimed to have the it people, but also at these parties, there were drinks laced with drugs and sexual assaults and stuff that, yeah.
Well, what I don't understand about it, and let me just whatever, because I obviously haven't done all the research into it, so I could be absolutely wrong by saying this, forewarning. So take my words with a grain of salt. But what I don't understand is that there are a lot of celebrities involved in the whole Diddy drama. A lot. And the only name that I hear of getting raked through the mud is Diddy. But
who else is
there was
at these parties?
So many others that were involved. I'm pretty sure it was either Beyonce or Rihanna that was at a lot of these parties.
The article I read mentioned Beyonce.
Okay, then that's who it was. I get them mixed up. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Justin Bieber was involved in some kind of way.
He was at some, and he was apparently, I think it came out that he was assaulted at one of the parties. And like,
so like in cases like that, I understand it. But what I don't understand is if this has been, I think the Kardashians have been to them before.
Like, every A-list celebrity that you can think of has probably been there, or at least in that type of group. Like,
so yeah, so like along those lines is I understand that if there was, sexual assault happening and whatever like that you might not want to talk about it and stuff. But I feel like now's the time to say something.
Right.
And if somebody else is involved, then you need to say it because they should not be
they shouldn't get away with
the place that they are. They should not get away with it the way that they are or whatever. So I just feel like P. Diddy, yes, he did a bad thing. I'm not negating what he did. I'm just saying that there's always multiple parties involved. And he's the only name I'm hearing, but there's no way that it's just him.
Yeah, there's no way.
So
yeah, the article I read like 2 articles about it. But it said like he plus like his like coworkers, for lack of a better term, like his producers or his team or whatever, apparently were all involved in these parties, and stuff has come out with not just Diddy doing stuff to them, but just this happened at his party. And neighbors, apparently he at his like Hampton house or something, he like has these big tall fences that cover like most of the area, so you can't see anything. Like neighbors can't see what's happening, and neighbors have like called the police on those parties many times. They said that women would be walking around in the early hours of the morning drunk, or like they wouldn't know where they were in various states of dress. Like they would not know where they were or what they were doing and like be stumbling in the street. And so, yeah, I went down this rabbit hole of like what actually was going on here.
Right.
And that's kind of just the basics of what I learned. It was like, okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So he had people wear all white.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that bring it back at the end of Snow White, everybody in the kingdom is wearing all white. And so they're like, oh, it's a white party.
Yep. Yeah, I literally watched a video breakdown and it was literally titled like, I watched Snow White, so you don't have to.
Oh.
It was one of those. And
God bless this man. Right. Or whoever.
Well, it was a girl, but it doesn't matter.
God bless her.
She was, she watched the movie and she literally broke it down like line for line and what all was happening and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't even have to watch the movie. Like, I just don't. Like, it sounds so bad to me. Like, it sounded bad before. Then I watched this breakdown and I'm like, I get that it's her opinion, but she's showing evidence from the movie that this is how it was. So it's not like she's just lying through her teeth or whatever,
Yikes. That's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad. Mm-hmm. What else did you look up?
All right. So the next thing I looked up, again, watching a video. So have you ever heard of Jubilee on YouTube?
Maybe.
So I think it's called Jubilee, but essentially Jubilee is a channel on YouTube and they will do various like political videos and stuff. And they'll do like the round table type of stuff where it's like one doctor versus 20 anti-vaxxers or something. Oh, and so it'll be like he debates with these people who don't believe in vaccinations or whatever. Yeah. Or it's like the reverse of it, like one liberal versus 20 Republicans or one Republican versus 20 whatever. Yeah. And it's always like big names from either side that they'll invite, and it's all different kinds of stories and things that they'll talk about, whatever. Well, I've gotten into watching their shows just because they're somewhat informational, you know? Yeah. And I am extremely fascinated in having conversations like that with people in terms of, like, I don't care what side you are. I'm not going to say what side I am necessarily right now, but I'm just saying, like, I don't care as long as we can have a respectful conversation about it. That's all I ask. So I'm just interested in those kinds of things. Like, I want to understand how the other person, like, how their brain works, how they're thinking the way that they are, whatever. Yeah. So all that to say, I was watching a video and it was a leftist versus liberal versus conservative versus MAGA. So it was one of each party, so to speak. And they were all around a table talking about various different topics that came up. Right. Well, one of the questions was related to Zelensky. Do you know who Zelensky is?
Maybe.
He's I don't know if he's president or who technically what his title is, but he's basically in charge of Ukraine.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then Putin is in charge of Russia.
Right. Yeah.
And there's the war going on in Ukraine and Russia right now. So Zelensky had come to the White House and was talking to Trump about the state of things in Ukraine. And the video honestly kind of sounds like Trump is really laying into Zelensky about, you're not in a position to demand things from us right now, whatever. And it's kind of sounding like in the video that he's taking Putin's side with things. And Putin, as a lot of people know, it's kind of rumored, at least. I don't know all the details about it, but Putin isn't necessarily the greatest of leaders. Yeah. Again, I'm not there, I'm not involved, so I can't speak to the truth and the validity of that. But based on what we've heard, that's what it is. So anyway, essentially within this answer, they were like, he's not necessarily siding with Putin, blah, 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 whatever they're talking about it. Well, I was curious. What I looked up was who would take office after Putin? Like, how would that process work? And so on. So what I learned that Putin is 72 years old. Okay. So typically in Russia, which I didn't know this, I learned, but Russia is a democracy of sorts where they will hold elections and then elected officials will run office. Okay. And they do 6-year terms. Okay. So like America is 4 years, they'll do 6 years. Yeah. And I don't know exactly why Putin seems like he's been at the head of the country for a long time.
It seems that way.
It seems like he's been in charge for a long time. Yeah. So I don't know that there's any limits on how many terms you can serve. Like in the US, you can only serve up to 8 years max. But yeah, so the theory is that Putin will likely serve until he dies, unless there's like a coup of some kind or whatever to take over. But essentially, it listed out some of his successors. So his successors could be Mikhail Mishustin, 58, prime minister. Okay, could be Sergei Sobyanin, 66, Moscow mayor. Could be Dmitry Medvedev, 59, president of Russia from 2008 to 2012. Sergei Kiriyenko, 62, first deputy chief of staff. Alexei Dyumin, 52, Putin's bodyguard in the 90s, and then played various roles as deputy director of military intelligence, governor of Tula Oblast, and now secretary of state council.
Wow.
Anyway, so those are like 5 options of people that could take over after Putin. And then I just wrote down that, again, it's the 6-year terms. The next presidential election is in 2030, and it's a popular vote.
Okay.
And women are allowed to vote in Russia.
Okay.
I've always been curious about like women's rights in Russia, because
it seems
the story that I've always been told and fed my entire life is that women in Russia are objects and that they don't have any rights.
Well, it seems like that's the story that we get told about any country outside of the United States. And I agree with that too. And like,
and I don't
Western
think that's
Europe.
True by any means. I don't think that's true. I really don't. Like, that's
another thing. I feel like we had such a limited education when it came to the world itself.
Yeah.
Personally, like
I've learned more since I've been out of school than I have when I was in school.
Right? I've had like 6 U.S. history classes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're learning about World War II again. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
But like, I don't need to know.
Right.
Okay, I've got it.
Right.
Like the bombing of Hiroshima, I've got it. But tell me more about these other countries that, like, I don't even know if I've looked at a list of all the countries in the world and like seen them in a list. Like. Yeah. There are places that I don't even know exist. And yes, I could research it, and I probably will later, because now I'm interested. But our scope of what the rest of the world looks like was so small in school that, yeah, of course, we're going to kind of assume as kids that, oh, I guess the rest of the world is, the U.S. is the best country in the world, and everybody else is mid. The next closest one is going to be the UK.
Right.
Right. And then after that, I know nothing.
Right.
So it's staggering.
But it's insane to me because that's the narrative that we've been told. And every country, America is involved in this as well. Every country has their ups and downs. Every country is good for certain reasons and bad for other reasons. And I love America. I don't want to live anywhere else.
I'm so blessed to be born here.
I'm so blessed to be living here, and I have no desire to live or be a citizen of another country.
No.
Because I love America.
Yeah.
And I want to live here. And I'm proud of my country.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of, everything.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm proud. I'm just saying that I think there's a lot of things that were maybe shielded from us, so to say, or it was strategically placed in our heads for what we believe and what we don't believe in school.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's a very good or accurate way to teach somebody about the world in general or various topics and whatever. Math is math. It's black and white.
Right.
I get that. English, the same thing. Like, English is English.
You're learning the classics.
Right. History is that one class in school. It really is every class in school. But history is that one class that I'm like, you shouldn't just be teaching about America's history. Like, I get that we're in America. We should be learning about our history.
And we should have a class dedicated to that. Right. But just one.
But I think it would be interesting to hear what happened in America and what happened at the same time in another country. And really get into depth in that. And the big hitters with that would be like the Holocaust, for example. Like, we heard a lot about both sides. And I would say even the world wars, like, we only ever heard about American side.
Oh, yeah. Well, you only hear about the winners.
Right.
You don't hear what happened via the loser's perspective, which I think I saw something that said that the people that win the wars write the history books. Yeah. And I was like, that
hits. Yeah. That's tea.
Crazy.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, there's multiple sides to every story.
Yeah.
And I am on the side of, I want to know every thing that could possibly be.
Yeah.
And form my own opinions on it. I'm not saying one thing or another. I'm just saying that I want all the facts.
I want to learn
before
everything.
I tell you my opinion on something.
Yeah.
So I don't want to just be fed one side of everything and just be expected that that's the way you should think.
That's the only way.
And I feel like that is the way the world is right now. And it's extremely 100%. Sad. Like, everybody hates the word narrative. There are so many narratives happening in the world right now. And you are being pushed on one narrative or another, or this one or that one, and everything is filtered and nothing is real.
Yep.
And I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
And I have to do all this extra research to form my own opinion. But for the people who don't do that, who don't put in the extra effort to research something, to form their own opinion, they're just believing the first thing they see online. They're believing, oh my God, I just saw this video and that's what I believe.
Yep.
Well, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't believe things like that.
Yeah.
There's deep fake, there's AI. Have you seen AI's videos these days?
Yeah.
Like the way that it can just sway what you think or whatever, you know, so.
And also what you're surrounded by is what you're going to believe. So if you're going to, you know, if your Instagram feed is full of, you know, right-wing videos, then you're probably going to tend to lean more right-wing because that's all you see. Same with the other side. Like if you lean left and you watch videos of people hating on Trump and doing all this, that, and the other, and then you're going to start to lean that way because that's what you're surrounded by. So you are a product of your environment. So if you don't put it upon yourself to go beyond that and to get uncomfortable and go somewhere else where you're like, I don't agree with this. I don't like this.
Right.
But if you don't at least take the step to try and understand it, then you're just a product of whatever everybody else has just been telling you should believe.
Right.
And you don't have anything
for
yourself.
You're not fixing the problem.
No.
You're adding to the problem.
Yeah.
Whatever you believe, you're just adding to the problem. One side or the other.
Yeah.
So maybe that's some tea, but I'm just
period.
That's what I'm saying.
Honestly,
that's what I'm saying.
I love that. Preach, sister.
Yeah. So
preaching.
And that's why I'm so interested in having these conversations with people who have opposing views from mine, because I am curious and I want to know why you think that way.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll learn something that I didn't know. But my issue with it is when I start talking to somebody and they're telling me their opinion and they're telling it to me like, that's the only opinion that you should believe. And you better convert the way that you're thinking right now because my opinion is the right opinion. And that pisses me off.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to be the bigger person and say, you know what? I actually didn't think about it like that. And I'm going to change my viewpoint on that a little bit. But for you to say to me that you are wrong because you believe in that.
Yeah.
And I don't.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is literally freedom of speech. I'm allowed to think whatever the fuck I want to think.
Exactly. And say whatever the hell I want to say on my own damn podcast.
Right. Period. Yep. Period. So that was a really long tangent just to say that I watched this video. It was intriguing. Yeah. And so
I gotta write that
down. Watched and read about Putin, and it was very interesting to learn.
Yeah.
And we'll just have to see where the world is within the next
2030
few years.
We'll put it on our time capsule episode.
Yeah.
We can talk about it.
There you go.
Bring this back.
About it.
Make
it back.
a note. Who leads Russia?
Yes.
All right. My last one that I researched, if you want to get into it. I mean, it's a
go for it.
Okay.
But I think what we're going to do is we're going to get into this last one. We're going to do our little outro.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back to you guys with another episode of our little review.
Yeah, our part 2 with our create a story.
Yes.
And our book talk.
Yes, because we have been talking forever.
Woo! We have.
And we are sorry that it's so long.
No, I don't apologize.
I'm sorry.
We have things
I'm not
to
sorry.
say. I think that learning how octopi have sex was very important.
It was very important to know. I didn't learn that in school.
I did. Exactly.
I didn't learn that. Literally, I've learned more since I've been out of school. Honestly, yeah. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. This last one is like a little is very different. It's more of an uplifting story.
Okay.
So again, scrolling on Instagram. That's when I'm not reading or trying to learn the piano, I'm scrolling on Instagram. So I saw a video of this Marine, ex-Marine now, I believe, but his name is Randy Adams. And he was set to go to Germany, like he was getting stationed over in Germany, and he was going to be, I don't remember exactly, he was going to basically go up the ranks over there. And so he was visiting some family before he was leaving, obviously, the country. So while at home, he gets into an altercation with what started out as his friends, but then it was like his friends' friends showed up, and then it got out of control, and he didn't know who these people were. And someone assaulted him with a knife and cut his face.
Oh, no.
Well, it got so bad that sepsis and necrosis set in all over his body.
Wait, how long ago did this happen again?
This happened in 2020, maybe 2021 or something.
Oh my God.
So sepsis and necrosis set into his entire body and his organs shut down and he falls into a coma for like over a month. And when necrosis sets in, I don't know if you know about that.
Yeah, it's like your flesh is dying.
Your flesh is literally eating itself.
Yeah.
And the percentage of living that long, like living after that has set in is close to none.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this guy wakes up. They managed to stop the necrosis and sepsis and all of this stuff.
Oh, wow.
And he is fine. He's gone through extensive surgeries, but he has obviously scarring all over his body from the sepsis and everything. But the worst is his face because that's where originally the infection set in. So he has no nose and no lips, and half of his face is basically gone. Like part of the skin off his jaw, no cheeks. Like you can see his teeth like back here. It's and his eye is like drooping on one side, and it's crazy. And the amount of surgeries he's gone through to like get that far, has been already extensive.
Get to functional capacity.
So yeah, his face went through the worst, and he has a long way to go to recovery, but he's doing extremely well, obviously. He's went through physical therapy to learn how to walk again, eat again, all the things. Well, he now has an Instagram. I think it's just, I don't know, Randy Adams. Just look him up on Instagram. But he started a movement called Remember to Inspire Someone Every Day, or Rise.
Oh, that's
to like rise up. So he's a Christian man, and so he a lot of his videos talk about how his faith has been strengthened through this, horrible thing that's happened to him and all of this stuff. I don't know. It's just very moving stuff. But what I looked up, I'll get to that in a second. But he recently went through another surgery and he's recovering from that. And so he has gone through a skin flap surgery where they took a skin graft from his leg and they put it over his face. And so I looked up face surgery, skin flap, what does it do? I was like, what is this? Because if you look at his picture, it looks like he has a big piece of skin just over his face, like a growth or a tumor or something. It's covering from his eyes down to his lips or his mouth. And so I looked it up, and skin flap surgery aims to restore skin and tissue coverage to areas where primary closure is not possible or when a skin graft might not provide the desired outcome. So really intense scarred areas. The recipient site, so where it's applied, is the area where the flap is placed to cover the defect, whether it's a wound, scar, or area of tissue loss. So it offers multitude of advantages like improved cosmetic results, specifically using tissue from the same area, but it can result in a more natural look and feel of your actual skin. So it's like building up the blood tissues from part of his leg and applying that to the face. It's like the skin starts to grow back into your face, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That sounds like some weird like lizards growing their tails back and stuff. It's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
A better blood supply. So maintaining the flap's blood supply reduces the risk of failure. And then, because it's living. It's not just a skin graft like it's slapped onto your skin. It's actively living on like as part of your face. So, and also helps with reconstruction. It can be used to reconstruct facial structures like nose, lips, and eyelids, which are where he has the most damage.
Right.
So it's crazy. So I went through his whole Instagram. I was like, this is fascinating. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And he is so positive. He said it took him so long. Actually, there's a podcast episode. This one girl, I wish I remembered what it was called. It's on YouTube. If you look up Randy Adams, it'll probably come up. But he talks about the accident and the healing and everything. And it was just so fascinating to see how he can talk about it so openly. And obviously he said it took a lot of therapy to get there, but he used to have to wear a mask. He wore a prosthetic mask that covered the bottom half of his face to make it look like he had a nose and part of a cheek and everything. But now he has the skin graft over his face.
Oh, I've seen this guy before.
Have you seen him? It's crazy. Yeah, so yeah, that's the skin graft that he has now, or the thing. But I think the video I saw was maybe this, or I don't know, one of the pinned ones or something. But it's crazy. So,
well,
yeah,
I am so happy for you. Randy Adams.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I mean, I'm not happy for you, but objectively, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy that
I'm in awe and like just the strength that he has and the amount of like compassion he has towards everyone and his, you know, the people that assaulted him and everything. Like he talks about it so openly, and I'm like, that much trauma happened to you and you still are able to rise up via his, you know, his thing. He's a motivational speaker now. He's so eloquent too. So like watching his videos, I'm like, wow, that's like, whew, make me cry. So it's just really powerful. So if y'all want something to do today, go look up Randy Adams on Instagram or YouTube and look up his stuff, because it'll make you feel a lot better about the world because he's putting out so much good. And it's like, there is still some good in the world. So
there is good, and it's everywhere.
And you just got to look for it. It's there. So I thought that was fascinating. And so I was like, I got to learn how that works.
Wow.
So it's really cool. So yeah, that's what I looked up.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that was so fun.
Part 1.
Part 1.
This is part 1. Part 2, or maybe part 2 of 3. We don't know. It'll depend how long it takes. It
depends. Yeah.
If we do another 2-hour episode, we might need to split it into 3. But this was part 1.
Yes. And yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah. If you're still here, whoo.
Yep.
You're a real one.
Kind of learned a lot about us on this episode.
Yeah. Us, the world.
Yeah.
I learned things I didn't know about you and about the world. And look at us. Wow. Learning new things. Who says you can't learn new things outside of school?
Old dogs can learn new tricks.
Oh my God. Well, do you want to go into something that you're loving right now? Or
sure. Let's see here. What am I loving right now?
Well, I've got something if you need a moment to think.
Go ahead. You go.
All right. Well, something I'm loving right now is my best friend, Bree. Oh, she's like, damn, the thing I was thinking of was something stupid.
Now I can't even think about it.
No.
Jesus.
So she came down this week for Easter to visit with her family, and then her family went to New York. So she's just at the house.
Yeah, thanks, Mom and Dad. Truckers.
You're visiting with your brothers.
Kind of. I mean, Keegan's got his friend in town, and then my other brother is hanging out with his girlfriend this weekend, which is fine. I mean, that's fine. I love you, Lily.
Okay.
But anyway,
okay, so you're here to visit me. That's nice.
I'm here to visit you.
Thank you.
That's really why I came.
That's so nice.
Because my parents left. My brothers are off doing their own thing, so I'm just here.
Okay. Well,
I came to do this episode.
Yeah, that's why she's here.
Oh,
special 10th
it's all
episode.
that matters, you know.
Yes, so. This podcast. But I didn't know when you were coming down, and so I'm at work yesterday, and just it's a slow day. Like, there was nobody in the building because we're in the middle of moving. And so it was like me, Grace, and 2 other people. And that was it. And it was really quiet. And suddenly, my coworker comes in and he's like, there's a lady here with donuts and she asked for you. And I was like, what? Maybe a customer or something? Like, customers sometimes bring us food or something. I was like, I didn't have anything on. Okay. So I like walk out. And there's Bree with a dozen donuts and a coffee for me. And I was just so surprised.
And she ate all dozen donuts by herself.
I did actually. Yeah, I did. I packed a lunch, but screw that. I've got this raspberry-filled donut to eat. Oh my God. It was delicious. Wow. So yeah, that was it was a nice Friday pick-me-up for in the middle of our very slow, boring day.
Well, thanks.
So I showed her the empty place. It was great.
It was beautiful.
It's a big mess.
I loved it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm loving. I'm loving that you surprised me. That was really nice.
Well, that's so nice. Thanks. Something I'm loving.
Are you loving your book? Or
well, okay, so I was going to say,
or do we want to wait on that?
I was going to say that I love my book in the next one, maybe. But I'm also like loving and not loving it right now. I don't know.
Right. I'm
loving it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just, there's a lot of emotions happening.
Yeah.
I'm loving that I bought the ingredients for a Moscow Mule tonight, and I'm going to have a Moscow Mule.
I'm so excited for a Moscow Mule, dude. Oh my God.
Yeah,
we are drinking tonight.
It's probably one of my favorite, like, vodka drinks.
Yeah.
Like, if I love liquor. Don't get me wrong.
Woo!
I'm a straight up liquor kind of gal.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not, whatever. I like the cocktails too. That's typically how I'll have it. But like,
you like it a little more plain.
I'm not a beer person. I'm not a, whatever. I'm just, give me the liquor.
Right.
Straight up. That's how I want it.
Dang, girl.
Shoot it up my veins. I'm fine.
Damn. All right.
So anyway, of all the vodka cocktails that I've had, a Moscow Mule is probably my favorite.
They're so good. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Vodka does give me a headache though. It's one of those alcohols that will go straight to my head.
So you'll need some ibuprofen before and after.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably take some
And
now.
we don't want to do what we did the last time that I had a birthday and we had bourbon and vodka.
That was bad.
I don't know if you participated in that, but I had like 3 blood bags. Okay, hold on.
Yep.
Fun fact, the birthday was Vampire Diaries themed. And so Madeline made a punch.
Yep.
And it was red and she put it in like
I used a syringe and I filled up 20 individual blood bags with a little syringe and it took like 2 hours to fill these things.
I love it.
But it was so iconic. I had to do it.
It was so good. I had like 4 of them, maybe.
Yep.
Something like that.
And each bag probably had 2 shots in it.
Oh, yeah.
1.5 to 2. Mm-hmm. So you had 4.
I had a lot.
In like 3 hours.
And then Madeline also got me Brothers Bond Bourbon, which is a bourbon company owned by Ian Somerhalder and Paul Wesley.
Who are the main
stars of
Vampire Diaries. Classic.
Damon and
Stefan.
So the Salvatore brothers. But anyway, so she got me their bourbon, and I had quite a bit of their bourbon that I remember.
Yep.
So it was really good. But yeah, so.
Well, what happens later?
Oh, well, I ended up with a hangover.
Yeah.
It's probably the worst hangover I've ever had in my life.
Yep.
And it was one of those hangovers that lasted for like 3 days.
Oh my God.
Like
I've never had that before.
I wasn't like sick, like nauseous sick, but I had a splitting headache for 3 days.
Oh, dang.
And they always say like, don't mix your darks and your lights.
Well, you did.
So I learned.
Learned your lesson.
I learned my lesson not to do mix that. It. So
yeah.
Anyway.
We'll probably do a podcast episode about our drinking escapades. We can talk about
we were crazy.
Remember I spilled my drink on you that one time?
Oh, absolutely.
That was probably the first time I got like super drunk.
Really?
I think so.
You think so?
I think so. We can talk about Epcot.
We can talk about Epcot.
We can talk about you fixing me a drink in my parents' basement when after they went to bed.
Yeah. But I also your parents might be mad at me if I say this.
No, my parents could never be mad at you.
I fixed her first drink, technically.
Yes.
When she turned 21.
Yeah.
So we had a milkshake, a alcoholic milkshake.
Yep.
When she turned 21. And then for breakfast that morning, I made her a drink with her breakfast.
Yep.
And then we went to your parents' house and
they gave me a shot of Jack Daniels.
Was it Jack Daniels? I was about to say Jameson.
It was Jack Daniels. I remember holding the bottle.
Okay. And she didn't like it.
Well, obviously, because I about died.
And then I made you like a vodka grapefruit drink afterwards.
God, that was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really good.
We'll dedicate an episode to talking about our different things. Because I just thought of like 6 different stories and was like, we'll
talk about all of them.
So I'll make a note of that. Talking about, but that's after part 2 of this one, which is Act of War.
And we're going to write our
stories
book.
And all of the things.
Yes. So. Yes. For sure. So what is I'm nervous about what our tangent tally is for this episode.
I don't think I kept a great count, but based on what I have written here, it's 30.
No, it is not.
Yeah,
oh my God, that's the highest it's ever been.
Yeah, that's really bad, dude.
It's because we're together.
It's the exponential growth.
We can just, with the multiple data points and all that
and the
stuff,
data points.
I think we can just never be together again.
Yeah, we can't do that. That's why we had to do a part 1 and part 2 because we talked about freaking.
Well, we talked about like robot servers and whatever. For the first 15 minutes of this video.
We talked about those little robots for 10 minutes.
I don't even remember what else we talked about in the first 15 minutes of this.
We'll hear it.
Yeah, we'll listen. We'll hear it eventually.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Please don't cut anything, actually. I feel like...
You want me to leave it at 2 hours
Let's
length?
leave it at 2 hours. I like it.
I might cut some of it because we had some long pauses in there.
Oh, cut the pauses and the...
So it might end up being like an hour and 50
stuff.
Minutes or something.
Perfect.
But yeah.
It's a full-length feature film.
Yeah.
We'll post the video.
Yeah. Are we going to post part 2 this week, or are we going to post part 2 as like a separate episode, like the following Monday?
I almost wonder if we could... Well, it depends.
Well, because...
On you, if
fun fact, we were going to do like this episode, and then next week's episode is going to be Harry Potter themed for Harry Potter Day.
Right.
So we can either move that and not do the
Well,
Harry
if this
Potter
one's
Day,
not going to need a ton of editing, we might be able to fit part 2 in later this week.
Okay.
Or later next week.
Let's plan for a Wednesday/Thursday release.
Okay.
We'll post it on our Instagram.
Okay.
So if y'all aren't following our Instagram,
keep an eye out on our Instagram for when part 2 will drop, because we're going to have a surprise
extra episode
in the week.
Yes. And it'll be part 2.
Yeah.
And part 2, there will be spoilers. Again, we'll talk about when those come up in the next episode, so you can at least listen to some of it.
Yeah.
But we will be very clear as to when we start talking about
this
the book,
is when
Pack of War.
Things are going to happen.
So,
yep.
Just be forewarned.
Yes.
So,
you have been warned.
Okay. Well, I think that's enough for this part.
All right. Let's finish this thing out.
Man.
Be sure to follow us on your preferred podcast listening platform, as well as our Instagram at Funny Pair Pod, to stay up to date on all the latest news and releases. Also, let us know what you think of this episode and the podcast in general by sending us a DM, leaving a comment on the Instagram posts, or if you feel so inclined, taking a second to please, she's making fun of me right now. Please rate and review this podcast, as those ratings and reviews will help us grow our orchard. We would love to hear from you guys.
Grow our orchard.
That was improv. That was my drama days, like peeking out a little bit.
I'm about to say orchard too, so y'all are going to get the orchard talk a lot today.
Oops.
If y'all don't know, if you listen to us, you're part of our orchard. Hello, welcome. We're so glad you're here. All the links for where to find us are in the description below this episode. We love every single one of our pairs, whether you just found us or if you've been here since the beginning. If you are enjoying what you hear and just cannot wait until next week, or actually Wednesday technically for this one, or Thursday, check out our past episodes and let us know what you think. A big thank you to all of our pairs for joining us in this episode and for helping our orchard grow. We'll talk to y'all again on Monday, and remember,
when you're the best of friends, having so much fun together, you're not even aware. You're such a funny pair. That's the first time we did it together.
Oh, that's the first no weird. The first time. Wow. This is also the first time we've ever met each other, so it all works.
Right. I've never met you before.
What's your name again? In my life. I don't remember.
Brianna?
I have Dory Brain, remember?
Right.
I forgot my own name.
Hi, I'm Dory.
I have short-term memory loss.
short-term memory loss. I do, though. Oh, my God. Did I tell you? The other day, Tyler and I will scroll together on Instagram for fun. And the other day, it was a video of, like, how well do you know your partner or whatever? And it was like, if they get 2 or more wrong, they owe you a coffee or a date or something. So we were watching that, and it was like a who's more this or who does that kind of a thing. And so we were like, okay, let's play it. And the first question was, who, let me word it exactly right. Who's the more forgetful one? And I said, that's probably me. I forget stuff a lot. Well, the video goes on. This video is probably a minute and a half. Well, later on, it says, who has the worst memory? And I said, you. You don't remember anything. And he just goes, what was the first question on this video? And I said, I don't remember. What was it? And he was like, you couldn't have scripted that. Honey. And we watched the video over and it said, who's the one that forgets more? And I was like, ooh.
Oh, boy.
Maybe I have the worst memory.
Yeah.
So it like asked the same question twice. And the first time I said it was me. And the second time I said it was him because I forgot. It was like over a minute and a half.
Oh my gosh, that's
like,
amazing.
Oh,
I love it. Wow.
So that was great. That was a great moment.
Well, now we all know. We'll be Dory together.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Sounds fun. All right. Let's end this episode. Oh my God, it's at 2:17. You freaking kidding me.
It really is at 2:17.
Oh my God.
That keeps happening. We're not even doing it on purpose. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna go now. Okay, bye guys.
Okay. See y'all.
See you later.
We've got some Moscow mules to drink.
Moscow Mule.